Well, hello and welcome. This is your host today, Ken D. Foster on the Heal It Show. So glad you joined us today. Resiliency is the topic that we're going to be talking about today. And how important is it for you to have that energy, that power to rebound from maybe difficult situations that we all have during the day? Well, a lot of folks out there are having challenges with their energy, with their resiliency. It's which is resulting in more stress than needed. It's resulting in days off of work. It's resulting in lower self-esteem. It's a very interesting thing, resiliency, right? When you're not feeling energetic, what happens to your mind, right? It kind of slows down. Maybe even there's some self-talk that goes on that you're thinking, wow, how am I ever going to get my energy back? Am I ever going to be resilient? Am I ever going to have the power, the passion that I once had? Well, I want to say to you, yes, you can have all that. And I brought an MD today. We're going to talk about resiliency. We're going to talk about the specific things you can do, mind, body, spirit, to be able to increase that energy flow into you and feel better, be more productive, probably have a lot more happiness. All right, listen, I'm going to take a quick break. And when we get back, I'm going to have my guest here. So stay tuned.
Whether because of discomfort, lack of mobility, your lifestyle, or occupation, you sit inactively way too many hours a day. Introducing Ellipse, the premium quality automatic seated exerciser that strengthens legs, increases mobility, and boosts circulation without physical strain or impact.
It is so quiet that none of my coworkers even know I'm using it.
Strengthen and tone your legs, increase your mobility, flexibility, and balance. Plus, stimulate healthy circulation.
My joints feel better, my knees feel better, my back feels better. It makes me feel stronger too.
Perfect for home therapy. Whisper quiet to use while you work.
My circulation is moving, I'm burning calories, and it makes me feel energetic.
Call now and order Ellipse, the seated exerciser that strengthens legs, increases mobility, and boosts circulation. Call and get upgraded to the Deluxe Bundle. Get the faster motor or 5 miles of steps per hour, the step counter, the sport mat, and wireless remote. Call now.
Are you ready to transform your life and get what you really want? Hi, this is Ken D. Foster, and over the past 30 years, I've helped thousands of people change the course of their lives by doing one special thing daily. This is the foundation of my latest book, The Courage to Change Everything. It is the ultimate guide to awakening the transformative power within you to get what you want. In this book, I'll teach you exactly how to unlock your hidden potential, break through your limitations, and get what you want, no matter what's happening in the economy or things beyond your control. So why wait? Get your copy of The Courage to Change Everything right now at couragetochange.us. That's couragetochange.us. There's no risk to you. If you're not fully satisfied that this book has supported you in getting what you want, just return it for a full refund. Welcome back, everybody. This is your host, Ken D. Foster. As I mentioned on the top of the hour, we're going to be talking about resiliency. And also we're going to go into the science of longevity. I think they both tie together. My guest today is Dr. Greg Hammer. Greg, I've had you on the show. It's welcome back to the show. It's great to have you here.
Great to see you again, Ken. Wonderful to be with you.
Yeah. Let me do a formal introduction for my audience out there that may not know you yet. Dr. Greg Hammer is an MD. He's a recently retired professor at Stanford University School of Medicine, pediatric intensive care physician, pediatric anesthesiologist, wellness and mindful lecturer, and the author of Gain Without Pain, one of my favorite titles, by the way. The Happiness Handbook for Healthcare Professionals. Dr. Hammer was the chair of the Physicians Wellness Task Force for the California Society of Anesthesiologists, as well as the former member of the Stanford WellMD initiative. He's been a visiting professor and lecturer on wellness, at institutions worldwide and has taught the GAIN method to medical students, residents, and fellows at Stanford. You've done a lot in your life. Congratulations on the retirement. That's great.
Yeah, really, of course, it's retirement from one thing and on to another. It's onto that second curve, as Arthur Brooks describes in his book, Strength to Strength. So yes, thank you, Ken. It's amazing how busy one can be after they retire.
Well, I'm right with you. I get it. So, retirement is great, but if we don't have resiliency, it can be a very miserable experience for folks, right? So let me talk to you. How'd you get into that resiliency, really studying resiliency and bringing that into the medical model?
Well, I've been a student of Advaita or non-duality for many, many years. And I've always been interested in physical fitness as well as spiritual and mental fitness. And then, as you mentioned in your intro, I joined the Stanford WellMD directive. And that is a group that was convened to address the issue of burnout among physicians at Stanford, because this is a growing phenomenon in medicine, not just at Stanford. And, when physicians are burnt out, they may leave. It's extremely expensive to replace a physician at Stanford for a variety of reasons. So the WellMD directive was really charged with looking into the causes of burnout and some of the solutions thereof. So that's how I got into sort of burnout in medicine. And then, just gradually over the years have taken a deeper and deeper dive into that topic and related issues. And my second career, if you will, is really devoted to longevity science and teaching.
Well, I love the burnout. Let's go down that right now. I'm wondering, what are the early? We know the later signs of burnout, right? But what are the earlier signs of burnout when people are just starting to get this lack of energy, lower drive, lower purpose? What happens here?
Well, first of all, what is burnout? I think burnout is nicely defined as the physical and mental fatigue one experiences related to chronic stress. So I think the physiology of stress is fascinating. There's acute stress, which may be adaptive. I mean, our physiologic responses to stress, among other things, have evolved over hundreds of thousands of years. And so, most of these traits that we have evolved for a reason. So the acute stress response was adaptive when we're sitting in our caves 150,000 years ago, early Homo sapiens. It was beneficial to be able to react quickly to an actual threat, and develop this fight or flight response. So if there was a saber-toothed tiger that confronted us at the mouth of our cave, we had the appropriate physiologic responses in order to deal with that situation. Unfortunately, nowadays, acute stress is mostly triggered by thoughts. So it's probably mostly maladaptive. It doesn't really behoove us to have these hormonal and other responses to our thoughts, which are actually the acute stress stimulus. It's okay to be acutely stressed as long as we can damp that down and neutralize those physiologic responses so the stress doesn't become chronic. And if we don't have that resilience, which is my definition of resilience, for my purposes, is the ability to neutralize the acute stress response when it is no longer adaptive so that we don't have chronic stress. So to your question, when we do develop this sort of chronic phase of the stress responses, it is tiring. It fatigues us. So the early signs would be, things that are familiar to all of us. Maybe we don't sleep well. We become progressively fatigued. Sleep, exercise, nutrition, we can take a deeper dive, but those are really the three main platforms for physical well-being. And so when we're stressed, we don't sleep well, our diet deteriorates. I can tell you there's nothing like after being in the hospital on call and not sleeping very much, nothing that hits the spot like one of those C's chocolate candies that a benevolent, grateful family member may have left at the nursing station for us. So we tend to pick up sugary and fatty so-called comfort foods to get a boost. And then, of course, we crash even more. We're too tired to exercise. So our sleep, exercise, nutrition being very interrelated start to go off the rails. And I think this happens to all of us. And so I think the early signs of burnout are those signs of chronic stress, which include poor sleep and getting out of our healthy habits for exercise and diet as well.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you mentioned that. I've been working with entrepreneurs for 30 plus years, and I work with many CEOs, founders, and C-suite. And I have to tell you that almost every one of them, when they first come into my practice, I send them to go get a physical. It seems like they're in denial of, I can see their bodies, or I can read their faces, and I can see, what's going on. Then they'll start talking about their stressors, but there seems to be some kind of denial around, or maybe it's not denial. We think we can do more than we can for longer periods of time. I'm not sure what that is, but I know one thing: the symptoms are devastating to a lot of people.
Well, exactly as you said, I think denial is an applicable term. This idea that we'll sleep when we're dead. I used to actually embrace that philosophy. Well, it turns out, no, that you're going to be dead a lot sooner if you don't attend to your sleep hygiene. So that's just one example. We fool ourselves into thinking, or we tell ourselves that we don't need that much sleep. Well, the science has evolved to provide excellent evidence to the contrary. We need 8 hours of sleep a night, give or take, and everybody's a little different, but not that different. And there's so many active processes that happen when we're asleep. And when we don't get enough sleep, those things are out of whack. And we can go there if you'd like, but yeah. I think that is a form of denial, that, this idea that we'll sleep later or catch up on the weekends. And the same with exercise and how we eat. I'll start my attention to my nutrition tomorrow or over the weekend, or I'll get my exercise on the weekend. This is a form of denial. So these are things that are essential to our health. The three of them are very interwoven. And I bet, Ken, as somebody who's quite astute, you probably could make your own assessment of that entrepreneur or founder when you're sitting across from them, as well as a doctor could. I think you could probably make a pretty good assessment of their physical and mental health without actually recording their blood pressure. So these things, we wear them. And so I think if one is attuned to oneself and others, we can read these things.
We do wear them. I had a friend of mine who's a physician, and he basically thought in his mind, he said there's basically 4 stages of illness, and he said you first you get little warning signs. That might be stage 1. Stage 2 is it starts to be a little more chronic. Stage 3 is now you've got a problem. You're in pain. You're in something's going on, and he said normally medical doctors don't even see you until you're in stage 3 or 4. And 4 is when it's just gotten to that point. Now you're going to have surgery, or something's going to have to really change for that individual. So along these lines that I'm seeing, I've had several medical doctors come on the show here in the last couple months, and stress seems to be one of the number one problems we have in America today. Maybe around the world, but I know, it seems like a lot of doctors are starting to think that almost.
Well, I absolutely agree. First of all, I think, stress is at an all-time high in the world. If you think about what's going on in the world and go back to the acute stress response, the stimuli that we're exposed to that activate our sympathetic nervous system, this sort of fight or flight response, it's associated with an increase in heart rate, blood pressure, blood sugar. A number of hormonal changes are responsible for that. But we get, anxious and excited by all the stimuli in our environment. But if you think about it, and I think, Ken, you and I are approximately contemporaries, we might agree that we've never seen this kind of world full of stress stimuli as today. I mean, given the political divide, given what's going on in the world with innocent people being killed in these awful wars that are ongoing, our ecology, is the planet going to be viable? Is Social Security going to be viable? Which goes to the economy, even though there's a lot of good things about the economy right now. There's also some difficult things. But, these things just represent stress. And so, you mentioned the diseases of aging, and aging itself may be considered a disease, but the stress contributes. It's a major contributor to aging and the diseases of aging, which are cardiovascular disease, metabolic disease, which is things like type 2 diabetes and obesity, neurodegenerative disease, including dementia, but other diseases like Parkinson's, et cetera, and cancer. Those are the 4 diseases of aging. And aging itself, as I said, I think can be considered disease. And chronic stress is one of the major contributors to those diseases and aging itself. And I would say the other contributors, and again, they're like sleep, exercise, nutrition, they're closely linked. So beside chronic stress, we have oxidative stress, exposure to things in the environment, for example, that present oxidative stress, which can also be our diet, and then chronic inflammation. And even things like, and these are very closely interrelated. When we're very stressed, our immune system is compromised, we're more prone to inflammation. Obesity is a huge problem. That kind of organ or abdominal fat that many people gain is associated with chronic inflammation. So oxidative stress, inflammation, and chronic stress itself are really the 3 major contributors to disease and aging.
Well, I think we can look around and if we're awake at all, we're aware at all, we can pretty much see that. Like you said, when somebody walks into my world and, I just take a peek at them, I look at them physically, I listen to them, how their mind is operating. I listen to what they're doing or not doing. And, a lot of times they come to see me because they're in pain. That's fair, no pain, no gain, right? You gotta feel that pain to make the change sometimes. But, it's going on out there. But here's what I want to do with you. We got to take a quick break. When we come back, I want to address one thing that you said, and that is that aging is possibly a disease. I like to go down that, and then as we get into the show, we want to give solutions to some of the folks that are listening, and what they can do. We're going to talk about your book too. So we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back. Are you ready to transform your life and get what you really want? Hi, this is Ken D. Foster, and over the past 30 years, I've helped thousands of people change the course of their lives by doing one special thing daily. This is the foundation of my latest book, The Courage to Change Everything. It is the ultimate guide to awakening the transformative power within you to get what you want. In this book, I'll teach you exactly how to unlock your hidden potential, break through your limitations, and get what you want, no matter what's happening in the economy or things beyond your control. So why wait? Get your copy of The Courage to Change Everything right now at couragetochange.us. That's couragetochange.us. There's no risk to you. If you're not fully satisfied that this book has supported you in getting what you want, just to return it for a full refund.
Imagine this is your money and someone wants to take it from you. Who is it? The IRS. Guess what? They want your money and they can take it, all of it if they want. Remember, they sent you that letter right over here that said, hey, you owe us a bunch of cash and we're going to take it from you right now. So what do? You fight back by letting our team of experts work it out with the IRS so you can keep your money. And hey, we're good at what we do. When you hire us, you get a team of guys on your side that know the IRS laws, and we'll fight really hard to save your money. So, if you owe the IRS a ton of cash and you want to keep it, call right now and learn for free how we can help you put it back in your pocket. 5 minutes of your time right now can save you thousands of dollars. And the best part, it's a free call, so please call right now.
Hi everyone watching at home. We're here to remind you that if you or someone you know were injured in an accident that was not your fault, listen up. We have live agents available right now to answer your questions and tell you how much your case is potentially worth. Hi, I'm Gina Bellich, here with spokesman and TV personality Tom Mustin with us in the Help Center. So Tom, phones are really busy over there. Tell us what kind of calls you're seeing.
Well, Gina, first off, thank you for having me here in the call center with you. We always enjoy talking to the viewers and getting folks the compensation that they deserve. You know, we're seeing calls about all kinds of accidents, but the most common by far has been car accidents. So if you or someone you know were injured in an accident that was not your fault, give us a call right now. You'll speak with a live person. They'll answer any questions you have and tell you if you have a case and how much your case is potentially worth.
Thanks, Tom. All right, folks at home, you heard it. Take advantage of this opportunity and call now.
Welcome back, everybody. This is your host, Ken D. Foster. I'll be right back with my guest, Dr. Greg Hammer, in just one moment. I would like to reach out to you, my audience, and let you know that, first of all, I want to thank you for helping us grow this show, how you have helped us grow over the years. And I want to reach out to you to maybe touch the lives of one person or two people you know today by sharing this show with them. You can go to our YouTube channel and subscribe to the show, and you can pass that show on to people that you know, trust, and love. We hope you'll do that. You can also find all of our archives at voicesofcourage.us, and the Heal It shows are right there too. All right, I'm coming right back now with our guest, Dr. Greg Hammer. Okay, let's go down now. Is aging a disease? And it's an important subject for me. I'm in a decade that one of my parents died, and I'm in this incredible physical health, have a great mind. I've got as much energy, if maybe more than I had in my 20s. And I sometimes wonder, I go, whoa, when's the aging part going to really happen? Now, somebody might say, well, look at your face or your hair. I get that, but I'm feeling really good. So let's talk about when does aging become a disease?
Well, I think aging is a disease once we hit the age of 25. Actually, there's a number of physiologic parameters that begin to decline at that early age, believe it or not. Cognitive function, muscle mass. These are things that you can do something about, but if you don't, take muscle mass. We tend to peak in our mid-20s. Again, we have to allow for individual variability, but these are sort of population data, but we tend to peak with regard to our muscle mass in our mid-20s. And then we tend to lose 10% of our muscle mass per decade. So that means from the time you're 25 to the time you're 75, you may have lost half of your muscle mass. Now, people like you and me aren't going to let that happen. We're not going to take it lying down. I mean, we're doing something about it quite intentionally. The I in gain, which is my mindfulness practice, is intention. We have to live with intention or purpose. Otherwise, these processes take over. And we could talk about the mental and spiritual things that happen and, what we can do about that with our intention. But yes, I mean, in terms of aging,
I do want to talk about those things, and I want to say to my audience, one of my close friends who I've been on stage with, speaking with her for the last 2.5 decades. She's in her 60s, and she lost her husband a couple of years ago and decided to go into bodybuilding. And now she's competing. She's built all this muscle in her late 60s, and she looks fantastic. So it's not, what my point is here is I think that, that should inspire all of us. We can build muscle at what I'm guessing is any age. I don't know what your experience with that.
Yeah, well, yes. And I hope that she's doing it naturally without things that, involve growth hormone and other things, because this is a whole subject unto itself. But we don't want to do things that encourage our cells to grow excessively, because that actually ages us. We want to balance that with encouraging cellular processes that go inward and repair things inside the cell, like scarf up these tau and amyloid proteins and other junk proteins. And we want to get rid of cells that are sick and aging and dying. And growth is sort of the opposite of that. So, we can talk about that, because that's the basis of things like intermittent fasting. We're exposing our physiology to lack, to want. And that turns on a bunch of really great things that are anti-aging processes. So anyway,
well, I
think there's
I would like to go down that with you. We got we're probably going to run out of time before we get everything we want here. So you'll have to
happy to come back anytime, Ken. Love talking with you.
But here's that like I've been practicing intermittent fasting for a couple of years now, and of course I do a lot of different things intermittent, so that it stimulates that response in the body, and it keeps us it keeps my energy high. I can just speak for me, and I'm sure you found that with your research. Is that what we're finding? Let's go down that. Why intermittent fasting? Why feeling some pain maybe, or to move our body to the next level? Why is that?
Okay, well, fundamentally we're talking about aging, we're talking about resilience.
Mm-hmm.
So things that we do to increase our resilience are the same things we do to slow the aging process down. So we talked about physical resilience briefly: sleep, exercise, nutrition, and I would add supplements to the nutrition umbrella, if you will, and now even drugs that actually slow down the aging process. So those are things we do that build our physical resilience and support our physical well-being. And then we have to also consider our mental and spiritual well-being and what we do about that. So you asked about intermittent fasting and cellular health and aging. So there are, I'm going to give you an analogy, and I don't know if this is perfect. It just occurred to me recently. So you're going to be one of the first people I run it by. You tell me you think if it's effective, but it's like you're in your home and you really need more. Your home is not quite adequate now, right? So for whatever reason, you need a different configuration. Maybe you need more space or whatever. So you look out in the housing market, you're interested maybe in buying a different house, but there aren't very many houses on the market, and you don't have a lot of money, let's say. So instead, you decide to fix up the house that you have. So that's my analogy to what cellular processes, sort of the fork in the road they come. If there's a lot of nutrients continuously, so if you're eating even when you're a little bit hungry and you're kind of constantly keeping the glucose and all the other nutrients flowing, fats and proteins as well, your cells want to grow. So they switch into this mode where they're going to divide and make new cells, depending on the organ, and they're going to grow. And when they do that, they're actually only so many times your cells can divide. So they're actually aging as they divide, if you will. So it's great that they're growing and dividing, but they can only do that up to a point. On the other hand, if they're in the mode where they're fixing up their interior, if you will, then they're scarfing up these junk proteins that tend to accumulate inside the cells. And in the neurons in the brain, these tau and amyloid proteins are major findings in patients with neurodegenerative diseases like Alzheimer's. So when your cells turn inward, they scarf up these proteins, they fix DNA fragments that are injured in oxidative and other processes, ultraviolet light, for example. And they actually, this results in growth of your telomeres, which are the little caps at the end of your chromosomes that shorten as your cells divide. So again, when your cells are dividing and growing, they're aging at the same time. The telomeres are getting shorter till the telomeres get to a point where your chromosomes can't divide anymore, so your cells can't replicate. So again, turning inward, fixing all this stuff. Your telomeres can be lengthened. And so when you do intermittent fasting, what you're doing is you're exposing your cells to lack. There's not enough sugar, there's not enough other nutrients in your bloodstream for X number of hours a day or 2 days a week or whatever your intermittent fasting strategy is. And that's switching your cells onto this fixing up the inside of the house mode. And there's just a lot of benefits to that. And it's anti-aging or geroprotective for your cells to be operating. I'm curious,
there's drugs out now to anti-age, and what do those drugs do? What are they?
Well, I think the two most well-researched drugs, which are probably the most popular among the anti-aging group, are metformin, which is an old type 2 diabetes drug. It not only lowers your blood sugar and exposes your cells to a little bit of metabolic stress, that lack that converts them to the reparative mode, but it has there's a lot of you can drill down is pretty deep on the basic science of how metformin is anti-aging. There's a lot of intermediate molecules that it either inhibits or stimulates that increase your mitochondrial function and do other things that actually preserve your cellular health and energy. And then rapamycin is another one. Rapamycin is from a fungus that was discovered on Easter Island called by the locals Rapa Nui, hence rapamycin. And rapamycin does a lot of the same things that metformin does, but they sort of work through different pathways. But the net effect is that it increases mitochondrial health and activity. It stimulates processes that, again, I mentioned when I was talking about the sort of reparative mode for cells. So it damps down a receptor that was actually named after the drug, which is called mTOR, the mammalian or mechanistic target of rapamycin, TOR. And that mTOR1 is inflammatory. I mentioned that inflammation is one of the drivers of aging in those 4 diseases. And so rapamycin inhibits mTOR1. So it turns down or off those processes that lead to cellular inflammation. And aging.
There's I'm an athlete, and there's a saying that we have, is that you can't out exercise a poor diet. So if you're given, we give names of a couple of drugs you can take, but my guess is you've got to balance things out with not just taking the drug. Is that accurate? Or yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, you're not going to out exercise or diet, supplement, take drugs for lack of sleep. You have to have all those things, I mean, if you don't, you can actually die from lack of sleep before you would die from dehydration or malnutrition. So you can go more days without water and food than you can without sleep. So again, you really need all those ingredients, Ken, as I'm sure you embrace in your life. You need sleep, exercise, nutrition,
always,
and a practice for mental and spiritual health. It's all tied together.
That's what I know. Clients come to me and they say, I can't sleep. Like, I'm a life coach. So I say, oh, you can't sleep. Oh, okay. Well, when you're stressed out, let's, and the first thing I help them do is to learn a mindfulness practice, whether it's meditation or being very present and cognitive about what they're putting in their body or where they're walking or that, so I give them some guided meditations and stuff to help calm them down. They come back to me and go, oh, this is magic. I can sleep now. Well, I said, how were you doing it before? Well, I have a cup of coffee about 8 o'clock and I'd eat about 9. And, then I watch some TV up until I go to bed at 11. And then, then I try to go to sleep and I couldn't sleep. It's like, whoa. But believe me, this is common.
How many sleep violations, sleep hygiene violations are embedded in that sentence?
Whole bunch. Well, I'm liking where we're going with this. I got to take a quick break. And when we come back, I'd like to take a little deeper dive into some of the mindful exercises that I just briefly mentioned that you would prescribe to somebody that's now got stress or they actually want to live longer. That's a good one. All right, we'll be right back. Are you ready to transform your life and get what you really want? Hi, this is Ken D. Foster, and over the past 30 years, I've helped thousands of people change the course of their lives by doing one special thing daily. This is the foundation of my latest book, The Courage to Change Everything. It is the ultimate guide to awakening the transformative power within you to get what you want. In this book, I'll teach you exactly how to unlock your hidden potential, break through your limitations, and get what you want, no matter what's happening in the economy or things beyond your control. So why wait? Get your copy of The Courage to Change Everything right now at couragetochange.us. That's couragetochange.us. There's no risk to you. If you're not fully satisfied that this book has supported you in getting what you want, just to return it for a full refund.
Hi, everyone watching at home. We're here to remind you that if you or someone you know were injured in an accident that was not your fault, listen up. We have live agents available right now to answer your questions and tell you how much your case is potentially worth. Hi, I'm Gina Bellich, here with spokesman and TV personality Tom Mustin with us in the Help Center. So Tom, phones are really busy over there. Tell us what kind of calls you're seeing.
Well, Gina, first off, thank you for having me here in the call center with you. We always enjoy talking to the viewers and getting folks the compensation that they deserve. You know, we're seeing calls about all kinds of accidents, but the most common by far has been car accidents. So if you or someone you know were injured in an accident that was not your fault, give us a call right now. You'll speak with a live person. They'll answer any questions you have and tell you if you have a case and how much your case is potentially worth.
Thanks, Tom. All right, folks at home, you heard it. Take advantage of this opportunity and call now.
Hi, folks. Joe Namath here. Did you know that I wear hearing aids? I love my hearing aids, and I am here to help you get a deal on the same brand I wear.
Don't waste thousands on expensive hearing aids when you can get MD Hearing's revolutionary Neo hearing aids for just $297 a pair. The Neo is a true hearing aid, not an amplifier. With rechargeable technology many customers say is superior to more expensive models. And you can get 2 Neo hearing aids with a 45-day risk-free trial, free shipping, and free lifetime US-based support for only $297. The Neo is nearly invisible with its tiny in-the-ear canal design.
Call my friends at MD Hearing and get the over-the-counter hearing aids that I use for you.
Call now and get not 1 but 2 Neo hearing aids for just $297.
800-789-7885. Again, that's 800-789-7885.
Are you ready to take charge of your health and well-being? UK Health Radio is your ultimate digital destination for cutting-edge health information and inspiration. At UK Health Radio, we know that good health is not merely the absence of disease, but a state of complete physical, mental, and emotional well-being. Tune in to our wide range of expert-led shows where renowned health professionals share about the latest research, practical tips, and inspiring stories that will motivate you to live your healthiest life. Don't settle for anything less than vibrant health. Tune in to ukhealthradio.com, the world's #1 talk health radio and podcast platform. All right, welcome back, everybody. This is your host, Ken D. Foster. I'm talking with Dr. Greg Hammer, MD. And you know what I'd like to kind of show everybody? You got a book out there, and we'll talk about some of the solutions that we really need. And then we'll get into what I mentioned right before the break. Gain without pain. Is that possible? I'm guessing it is because Dr. Greg Hammer wrote about it. So let's talk about it. How do we get gain without pain?
Well, that's a great question. In the context of the book, GAIN is an acronym actually for what I think are the 4 pillars for mental and spiritual well-being and happiness itself. And they are gratitude, acceptance, intention, and non-judgment. So, you know, we can actually develop a practice incorporating these 4 essential ingredients, and we can talk about that. It can be done in 3 minutes every morning, and it's painless. Mm-hmm. So it feels great, as you know, from, you know, like your mindfulness exercises. You do them, and you're strengthening your resilience, and it's not painful at all, right? I mean, it feels great. So for the most part, I feel that way about sleep, exercise, and nutrition as well. Even exercise. You should really not be, this is my own personal thing, and I think especially as we get to be our age, Ken, you have to be careful not to hurt yourself because your tissues are not as resilient and self-reparative as they used to be. So you don't really want to work out to the extent that it hurts, right? You want to kind of stop before that. So even in that regard, I think that improving our resilience and strengthening our bodies and spirits, it should not be painful.
Yeah. I think that's really good advice. And I think that a lot of people really need to hear that. I think sometimes people decide that they're going to oh, I don't know, go run at 60, or go build weights, or start working out at the gym, or they're going to change up what they're doing, and they start out way too fast. And it's really so important to start out really slow. That's what I know. Easy steps. In the book, I want to focus on the N, non-attachment. How does one practice non-attachment?
Non-judgment, actually.
Okay, non-judgment. That's even harder.
Well, yes, because our brains are wired in ways that interfere with our happiness. And again, you can go back to the evolutionary roots of why our brains are wired the way they are. And fortunately, they're also imbued with a quality called neuroplasticity. So we can actually rewire them, fortunately. But they're wired in ways that don't contribute to our happiness. They may contribute to our survival. At least, that's why they evolved that way. So one of them is we have a negativity bias. We tend to remember the negative and forget the positive. And another one is that we have a hard time being present. If you close your eyes and just try to concentrate on what's happening right now, your mind will naturally go to the list of things you have to do tomorrow or later today, or it'll go to, something you wish you hadn't said yesterday. So this combined negativity and inability to be present leads to a lot of depression, fear and anxiety, low self-esteem, things you mentioned in the beginning, which require resilience in order to overcome. But to your question about judgment, our brains are wired to be very much assessing our environment. And unfortunately, because of our negativity bias, we often do that in a negative way. So we'll see something and we'll interpret it as being negative. So we're making judgments all the time and judging others, judging the world, and most harshly judging ourselves in a negative manner. And to your point or your question, thanks to this neuroplasticity, we can rewire our brains so that we'll drop the judgment. So I'll tell you, as part of the GAIN practice, it's based on deep, slow breathing, activates the parasympathetic nervous system, and then a self-guided tour of these elements: gratitude, acceptance, intention, non-judgment, during each of which, those 30 or 45 seconds, we're also weaving in our deep, slow breathing and maintaining this sort of vagal parasympathetic tone. When we get to the end, here's an example, Ken, of what I teach and what I practice myself. So our eyes are closed. We're sitting in a comfortable chair. We've been at it for a couple of minutes. We're focused on slowing the inhalation down through our nose, pausing to a count of 3, inhaling to a count of 3, pausing to a count of 3, exhaling slowly to a count of 4 into our belly. And when we get to the end, we may picture, for example, an image of the Earth suspended in space, one of these beautiful NASA images. And yes, the Earth is a beautiful planet, but it really is neither good nor bad. It doesn't have the qualities of goodness or badness. It's just a planet. And then it's only logical for us to think, I too am just a person. I'm just a human being. I am not intrinsically good or bad. I simply am the person that I am. And then we go with this I amness and, back to focusing on the breath, weaving it in with this I amness, and then we slowly open our eyes. But it's that 45 seconds we're really focused on. It could be the Earth, it could be a mountain range that you love, it could be a tree. It's just that which it is. It's neither good nor bad. And we too, I'm just a person. I'm not good or bad. So let's just drop the judgment. And what happens, Ken, is every time we do this, we go through this exercise, this painless exercise, we're actually deepening we're reinforcing those neural pathways that are wired to drop judgment. And so I do my GAIN meditation. I'm driving to work or riding my bike to work in my case. Let's say you're driving and somebody cuts you off. You immediately start to form all these judgments. But then a light bulb goes off. You say, Ken, I just did my GAIN meditation. I'm neither good nor bad. That person is neither good nor bad. There is no judgment. And you get a little.
I love that. And yeah, I love that. And what I know is that it's one of the things that I've been teaching clients now for a while. It's stillness is really the price of, I want to say greatness, but stillness is the price of really having calmness throughout your day. And I love your method because we can go to that still place several times a day, which is what I believe we all need. Slow down to succeed, go into that stillness piece. And, it's interesting because what a lot of people don't know is that the mind and the breath are very interconnected. And as you slow your breath down, your mind, your thoughts start to slow down. So I think that's a piece of it. And I'm going to just throw my last piece here is, for me, when I wake up, when those eyes open up, first thing I go to is gratitude every day. Because I know the way I start my day, a lot of times how I'm going to finish my day. So what you're talking about is so powerful. I love that. Dr. Greg Hammer, let's tell people where they can see you and get a little more information about what you do out there. I think we should put that up on the screen right now again. So it's it's greghammermd.com. Is that correct?
Yes, that's my website.
Okay. Yeah. greghammermd.com. For those of you in my listening audience, greghammer.com.
greghammermd.com.
MD. Sorry. Don't forget the MD. You won't see them. All right. That's good. And, let's tell them a little bit where they can get the book too. The book that you have out there, where do we get that at?
Well, it's available on Amazon, and funny, we were talking, it's now on a bunch of used book sites. So I guess it's been around long enough that people have read it and maybe read it twice. And now they're eager for other people to read it. So, but it's on Amazon. I think if you just search for Gain Without Pain and Greg Hammer MD, you'll find it.
Awesome. Well, we're getting close to our time here. And I got to take a really quick break. When we come back, I want to ask you, people that are starting here, they're listening to this, they're inspired to make some changes for themselves. Where do they start? So we're gonna address that when we get back. Are you ready to transform your life and get what you really want? Hi, this is Ken D. Foster, and over the past 30 years, I've helped thousands of people change the course of their lives by doing one special thing daily. This is the foundation of my latest book, The Courage to Change Everything. It is the ultimate guide to awakening the transformative power within you to get what you want. In this book, I'll teach you exactly how to unlock your hidden potential, break through your limitations, and get what you want, no matter what's happening in the economy or things beyond your control. So why wait? Get your copy of The Courage to Change Everything right now at couragetochange.us. That's couragetochange.us. There's no risk to you. If you're not fully satisfied that this book has supported you in getting what you want, just to return it for a full refund.
Imagine this is your money and someone wants to take it from you. Who is it? The IRS. Guess what? They want your money and they can take it, all of it if they want. Remember, they sent you that letter right over here that said, hey, you owe us a bunch of cash and we're going to take it from you right now. So what do? You fight back by letting our team of experts work it out with the IRS so you can keep your money. And hey, we're good at what we do. When you hire us, you get a team of guys on your side that know the IRS laws, and we'll fight really hard to save your money. So, if you owe the IRS a ton of cash and you want to keep it, call right now and learn for free how we can help you put it back in your pocket. 5 minutes of your time right now can save you thousands of dollars. And the best part, it's a free call, so please call right now.
Hi everyone watching at home. We're here to remind you that if you or someone you know were injured in an accident that was not your fault, listen up. We have live agents available right now to answer your questions and tell you how much your case is potentially worth. Hi, I'm Gina Bellich, here with spokesman and TV personality Tom Mustin with us in the Help Center. So Tom, phones are really busy over there. Tell us what kind of calls you're seeing.
Well, Gina, first off, thank you for having me here in the call center with you. We always enjoy talking to the viewers and getting folks the compensation that they deserve. You know, we're seeing calls about all kinds of accidents, but the most common by far has been car accidents. So if you or someone you know were injured in an accident that was not your fault, give us a call right now. You'll speak with a live person. They'll answer any questions you have and tell you if you have a case and how much your case is potentially worth.
Thanks, Tom. All right, folks at home, you heard it. Take advantage of this opportunity and call now.
Hi, folks. Joe Namath here. Did you know that I wear hearing aids? I love my hearing aids, and I am here to help you get a deal on the same brand I wear.
Don't waste thousands on expensive hearing aids when you can get MD Hearing's revolutionary Neo hearing aids for just $297 a pair. The Neo is a true hearing aid, not an amplifier. With rechargeable technology many customers say is superior to more expensive models. And you can get 2 Neo hearing aids with a 45-day risk-free trial, free shipping, and free lifetime US-based support for only $297. The Neo is nearly invisible with its tiny in-the-ear canal design.
Call my friends at MD Hearing and get the over-the-counter hearing aids that I use for you.
Call now and get not 1 but 2 Neo hearing aids for just $297.
800-789-7885. Again, that's 800-789-7885.
Are you ready to take charge of your health and well-being? UK Health Radio is your ultimate digital destination for cutting-edge health information and inspiration. At UK Health Radio, we know that good health is not merely the absence of disease, but a state of complete physical, mental, and emotional well-being. Tune in to our wide range of expert-led shows where renowned health professionals share about the latest research, practical tips, and inspiring stories that will motivate you to live your healthiest life. Don't settle for anything less than vibrant health. Tune in to ukhealthradio.com, the world's #1 talk health radio and podcast platform.
Well, welcome back, everybody. This is your host, Ken D. Foster, and I'm speaking with my guest, Greg Hammer, MD, and he's a recently retired professor at Stanford University School of Medicine. All right, what is it? Where can people start? Where do we start? All this information, where do they start? They're sitting there listening to this. They're going, Ken, what do I do first? Do I exercise? Do I eat? Do I change my diet? Do I go see my MD? What do I do here?
Well, I think, whenever we get off the rails a bit, we should go back to the fundamentals. And the same thing goes when you're just starting out a wellness practice. And I'm sure that most of us have some elements of our practice, our habits that are consistent with wellness already. But again, for our physical well-being, I would go to sleep, exercise, and nutrition. And so sleep hygiene, there's a handful of things. We all know what to do. Cool, dark room, no screens proximate to the time of bed. No caffeine after the morning if you're sensitive to it like I am. It has a very long half-life. There's a number of other things we can do to sleep hygiene. So just start with that because improving your sleep is fundamental. And then as far as diet, maybe just start to inch toward a more plant-based diet. Do some reading about the Mediterranean diet perhaps and start to incorporate that into your daily repertoire. And likewise with exercise. And as you said, Ken, take it slow. Start with walking and then walking faster, doing a power walk, getting on a bike, whatever. Start slow, but just be consistent. I think having a daily practice. So it's pretty simple. And then on the mental and spiritual resilience and well-being side, look into a mindfulness practice. I'm sure you have resources on your website, probably. I do. There's a lot of wonderful things you can do, just even a gratitude practice. So start slow. Think about gratitude when you wake up and think about gratitude before you go to sleep. There's actually science on how that helps you sleep and increases your happiness. So baby steps, but just keep going in the right direction, hopefully on a daily basis.
Hopefully on a daily basis. I think one of the symptoms of that you might be stressed out is that you can't be consistent. So there's stop-start patterns. You start exercising, you stop. You start eating right, you stop. You start doing something, you stop. So it's probably wise to look at that a little bit. Okay. You know, this has been an amazing show, and I want to just thank you again for being here, Greg. It's been my pleasure, and I really sincerely hope we can do more of these together, because we're just touching on some of the areas that your expertise has encompassed over the last many decades. You know, as a teacher, as a practitioner, as a person that really has learned the lessons himself, which is why I bring you on the show, because you're not just talking about it, you're living it. So thank you so much for being here.
Great pleasure, Ken.
So, and all of you, I want to thank you for joining us, and please let your friends and family know about our show. And if you do, that's how we grow. That's how you'll grow. And come back, subscribe to our YouTube channel, as I mentioned, and come back and listen to this time and time again. I guarantee you, you will grow, you will evolve, and you'll be healthier for it. All right, take care.